Seems like the kind of thing a responsible parent wouldn't want you doing. Good thing I'm an uncle. Avenge me, kids! Avenge me! We have the incredible sack of mystery. You put your money in, it mysteriously disappears.
Oh, of course.
That makes perfect sense.
I got a job for you two. I printed up a bunch of fake safety inspection certificates. Slap one on anything that looks like a lawsuit.
Uncle Stan, is that legal?
When there's no cops around, anything's legal.
The heart of Stan's career in crime is the Mystery Shack. From the very beginning, the show makes it clear that this is no legitimate business. Tourists are lured in with promises of seeing the mysterious and the unexplained, only to find fake attractions that have been glued together or made up on the spot. Funny enough, most of them don't even realize this.
Ladies and gentlemen, behold, the Sass Crunch!
Stan lies to his customers without a second thought, fakes exhibits, inflates prices, and never offers refunds. But the shack is just one part of Stan's story. His list of personal confessions is even more outrageous. Stan admits to smuggling animals across state lines, a crime that would get most people locked away for years. He also confesses to shoplifting fireworks, a reckless act that fits perfectly with his disregard for rules and safety. And in perhaps his strangest boast of all, he taught a bear to drive.
The doctors assigned me a seeing eye bear to drive me to the hospital in case of emergency.
Then where's your doctor's note?
It's right here inside my jacket. There you go.
So, his crimes aren't just limited to ripping off tourists. They reach into areas of theft, smuggling, and animal exploitation. One of his greatest crimes, however, isn't even against strangers. It's against his own family. For years, Stan lived under his twin brother's name. He assumed Ford's identity and faked his own death. He signed Ford's name on official papers, ran the shack in his place, filed taxes as if he were his brother while also committing multiple tax frauds in his name. This is fraud and identity theft on a massive scale, carried out for years without anyone in Gravity Falls realizing. Stan has also stolen toxic chemical waste, and while running for mayor, we clearly see him committing voter fraud. And actually, the best public summary of Stan's reputation comes from that short-lived run for mayor. Stan wins the election by a landslide, but is disqualified because of an extensive list of crimes, all mentioned live on air. They included shoplifting, teaching bears to drive, burgle embezzlement, first-degree homicide, first-degree thermometer theft, pug trafficking, snacks evasion, pickpocketing, woodpecker baiting, impersonating a dentist, general indecency, golf cart theft, bingo fraud, and telling jokes that just go on and on. Yet Stan just laughs it off, saying at least they didn't list any of the bad ones. None of these were explained and none needed to be. It was the perfect reflection of who Stan was, a man with so many skeletons in his closet. If there's a way to cut corners, cheat, or dodge responsibility, Stan will find it. Yet for all of this, Stan Pines is never hated. He is not the villain. His scams are often played for comedy, his crimes delivered with such charm that audiences can't help but laugh. More importantly, the show reveals his softer side. Beneath the layers of lies and schemes, there is a man who truly loves his family. Despite involving Mabel and Dipper in some of his schemes, he protects them fiercely. The man fought a pterodactyl to protect Mabel's pet pig, and was one of the reasons behind Dipper's rise in confidence and self-belief throughout the series. While his crimes may fill a book, Gruckle Stan ran the shack as a front business, while spending years in the basement trying to rebuild Ford's portal, and eventually bring him back. Now, Stan aside, let's talk about Eddy. He may have been a kid, but he had ambition, ego, and a never-ending drive to separate the other kids in the cul-de-sac from their allowances. Unlike Stan, who operated a business, Eddy was all about quick money grabs, and his motivation was simple. He wanted jawbreakers, those comically oversized candies. Honestly, I'd need a 30-minute video if I had to list every single one of Eddy's scams. In fact, it was rare for an episode to end without him and the boys attempting some scheme against the other kids. What makes Eddy fascinating is the sheer creativity of his scams. Across the series, he tried everything from homemade carnival rides to fake services, clubs, contests, and products. Each scam was different, each one inventive, and many were shockingly well thought out for a kid his age. Eddy had the mind of a future entrepreneur. He was always scanning his environment, spotting problems the kids faced, and then rushing in with a solution. He just didn't have the maturity to pull them off successfully. In the very first episode, for example, the kids complained about their stuff going missing, and Eddy instantly seized the chance to make money. He spread the rumor that there was a thief on the loose, dramatically dubbing him the Serial Toucher.
Beware of the toucher! Serial toucher on the loose! Hide your stuff! Hide your valuables!
Can you dorks do about it?
Yeah! Well, we dorks are gonna solve this mystery!
Eddy then offered his services as the one who could catch the culprit, but only for a fee. Desperate, the kids agreed to pay if he delivered. Eddy quickly devised a plan, and through a setup, they pressured Johnny into confessing, even though he was completely innocent. In the end, the scam worked. The Eds walked away with a jar full of quarters, which they proudly used to buy jawbreakers.
Should we feel guilty about Johnny's predicament?
Nah, you know what they say. A little childhood trauma builds character.
Then there's the episode where the Eds gave Ed a complete makeover, transforming his look and personality. Eddy quickly noticed that the other kids loved Ed's new image, so he decided to capitalize on it.
And more of those witty Edisms.
Wow, did you see that? They can't get enough of them. Perfect.
He rebranded him as Ed the Great and launched The Ed Show, charging admission to watch Ed perform catchphrases and flashy moves. He even made Plank pay. Once again, the scheme worked. Eddy ended up with a jar full of quarters. But just as things seemed to be going perfectly, the Canker sisters showed up, wreaked havoc, and stole the money. In many ways, Eddy's biggest enemies were his greed, poor execution, and constant interference from the Canker sisters, their self-imposed girlfriends. Take the clubhouse scam, for example. The Eds built a kids-only clubhouse and charged for membership. It was a solid idea. A private hangout spot is something kids would actually pay for. But before they could enjoy the success, the Canker sisters swooped in and took over. Beyond those scams, Eddy never stopped coming up with new tricks. He once used hypnosis to get money from the kids, sold so-called Canadian squirt guns, and even built a full cardboard city called Edtropolis, where he charged admission.
He has also staged a luxury trip called Eddy's Creek Cruise and made it feel like the real deal. In another scheme, he trained Johnny to be unbearably annoying, then made the other kids pay him just to keep Johnny away. And that's only scratching the surface. Some of Eddy's scams were ridiculous, but they revealed real business instincts. Eddy understood marketing. He hyped up his products with flashy words, exaggerated promises, and fake credibility. He built anticipation among the other kids, then cashed in on the excitement. That's advertising 101, and Eddy had it mastered before hitting his teens. On paper, Stan looks unbeatable. His crimes are massive. Eddy, by comparison, is just a neighborhood hustler, scamming kids for pocket change. But that's not the whole story. Stan is an adult with decades of life experience. He had years to refine his scams. He had the cover of a business and the cunning of a grown man. Eddy is just a kid. And yet, he matches Stan's energy, scam for scam. Eddy's creativity was relentless. He didn't recycle the same trick. He reinvented himself every day. The fact that a 12-year-old is even in this conversation is the biggest sign of his genius. So, who was the better scammer? I will have to go with Eddy on this one. What do you think? Drop your pick on the comment section.